This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good night, Melissa Jurkoic. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful night?
I am doing very well. How about you?
I'm great. It's a great pleasure to connect with you. It's the cherry of the final. I usually call Friday. No, I usually call Saturday the final day. Today is Friday, but I get to rest tonight, so I'm excited. Yeah. So that conversation right before that. What part of the world are you in right now?
I am in New Hampshire, so I'm in the United States in New Hampshire, over sort of on the seacoast. By the ocean.
All right. Sounds like fun. I'm guessing it's a bit colder there because you're closer to the ocean.
It is very cold. It's cold and rainy today. It was snowing just a couple days ago. So,
what type of temperatures are we thinking about when we say cold?
20s, 30s.
Okay. So that's like minus double figures, yeah? In degrees Celsius.
Right, exactly.
Ooh la la.
It's chilly. It's chilly.
She said it's chilly. Oh, well, Melissa, do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
That's a great question. I'm not really sure.
Well, here's what. Let's dig into that then. Let's dig into honesty. Yeah? Who did you learn honesty from? How to be an honest woman?
I would say it probably was from growing up and having a lot of people not be honest to me and realizing that I wanted to be the opposite of that. So I think that's probably a sad way to describe how I learned, but that I do believe is how I learned. It was really, learning from not having it.
Now, you help empower women in different ways, right?
I do.
So, dig into that. Tell us a bit about how you do that, please.
Yeah, absolutely. So I actually spend a lot of time outside of my everyday work, volunteering and working with organizations and new initiatives. And I just launched a new initiative actually today to really empower women in the spaces where they're not really supported today. So, and I do that through mentoring, building programs like mentoring programs, being a mentor to other women that need it. And primarily I focus in like technology in that space because that's where I've lived for the majority of my career. But in general, really just empowering women so that they can grow into leaders. And I do that, like I said, through those programs, speaking at events, hosting events, trying to sort of raise and support women in a way to highlight those that have done like amazing things that people don't realize. Because I think when we see them as role models, then we're going to naturally follow them and then feel empowered to do those things because we see people that are doing it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, though, that you learned honesty from not seeing it, and now you've decided to ensure that individuals can learn from seeing it. And I guess having speakers and individuals that highlight that for other women is inspirational, isn't it?
Yeah, it definitely is. Yeah, and I will say that just having those conversations with women and feeling like you're making a difference is just so gratifying, right? Like I actually feel like that there's a purpose beyond, sort of the grind that we get into every day where we're making a difference, even if it's incremental.
Now, for those that are listening that would like to connect with you, where's the best place for them to do that?
Oh, there's lots of places. I would say you could connect with me on LinkedIn. And that's where a lot of people do connect with me. You can connect with me. I'm on Twitter, Facebook. Like you can find me pretty much everywhere. Like I said, we just launched a new initiative today. So we actually have a site, and then we have our own website, diversifythinking.com, where we're extending, a partner of mine and I are extending what we've been doing in the space for women, specifically focused on women, to be more broad and to bring, basically make it more of an inclusive conversation, because we fear that we might be creating, just through our own passion for the mission to empower women, that we may be sort of doing it wrong, I guess. Like, if I'm being honest, like maybe we're being exclusive when we're actually trying to combat exclusivity. So that's what this initiative is all about. So it's actually really timely that we're talking today, because we have been publishing on social media and announcing that what we're doing in that space. And again, that actually is more of the same, but it's focused on I would say, an evolution of the mission to be more inclusive.
It's pretty cool though. Like I live in connecting the dots, right? In life, I love to connect dots. It's one of the purposes of the podcast. It's okay. Let's go get 1 million dots and see. Well, not 1 million just yet, right? But we're in the thousands right now, and let's see how they will connect. So tonight, I've spoken to, thus far, I believe, 2 other women, yeah. And so one, her topic was thinking into results. That definitely fits with what you're doing. And
Absolutely.
then the other person before that, she's also helping in the tech space. She has a nonprofit. She's in North Carolina. So it'd be really cool to connect each one of you back to each other. And then the other person helps others with confidence on stages and what's required to be confident. So it would be really cool to see when I connect all of you from tonight with everything that's going on, with you pushing out this energy for what you're releasing. It would just be really cool to see how far that goes, and to see that it's connecting even on my podcast tonight. It's really fun.
Yeah. That's incredible. Yeah, I love that. I love that. The idea of connection and like bringing people together that wouldn't otherwise have even known each other existed, and they may share a very similar passion around certain things. That's great.
Yeah, it's fun. And the good thing is, I'm like the Caribbean bridge. So you still get to, like come to the Caribbean, right?
Yeah, I'm there. I don't know where you are, but I know it's warmer than where I am. So.
Well, do tell me, Melissa, one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
I would say I've come a long way in being authentic. So in the last 3 years, I really, again, probably through a lot of the work that I've done, which has evolved over the last 4 years outside of my everyday career, right? It's really been around sort of growing into that best version of myself that is really what I feel like I'm supposed to be here doing. And that's been consistent. Where I've been focused for the last 3 years is really around authenticity and how I can obviously grow that in myself, but then encourage other people to do the same.
Looking back from now to then, how does it make you feel?
Tired and incredibly proud, really. Yeah, I've been really proud of what I've been able to accomplish over the last few years, and the people I've been able to touch, most importantly. Like when you talk about connecting people, that really resonates with me. And I think I've probably networked. That would be another thing around what have I done consistently over the last 3 years. I probably networked more in the last 3 years than I have my entire life.
Wow.
And I've met people all over the world through like some of the work that I've been doing, similar to, probably not this scale, but similar to what you're talking about. Like you just come across people in your research and your desire to connect. And then the more you do, the more you crave it, right? And so that's been a huge part of the last few years for me is, being authentic, and then also like craving that connection and going in search of it, like not waiting for it to come to me. So I've met some, incredible people. And that's been amazing. And I look back and I'm like, geez, like my network of people and sort of, people don't talk about Rolodexes anymore in this day and age, but essentially my Rolodex is like, 100 times what it was 3 years ago, the people that I have connected with and I hope touched in some way.
Suggest to someone out there that's listening why they should do that, or even consider the idea of expanding the networks.
Oh man, the power of that is like, you don't know it until you have it, I would say, but you have to believe it, right? So like, you don't realize the power of knowing all these people. And honestly, especially like if you're thinking about something in your professional future, it's less about what you do nowadays and more about who you know, right? And so that's a big deal. Like if you're talking about your own professional growth or personal growth, but then I mean, you got to get out there, because I think you learn more about yourself through the eyes of other people than you ever do sort of, I guess, looking in a mirror, right? And so that is huge. That's been a huge thing for me, is seeing the value that I bring through my connections with other people, and not realizing that maybe before that I even had that to offer. So that's been incredible. I would say, like, you will become a better version of yourself, and you will grow if you search and crave that connection and seek it out. Whereas sort of sitting where you are and maybe even being sort of complacent with that, you don't realize what you're missing. Like, you really are missing something. There is a lot out there, and you should really go find it.
Love it. Amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live from Melissa Jurkoic. Melissa, let's switch gears for a moment. Now, let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Melissa, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Oh, that's interesting. So, I remember being, I don't know exactly how old I was. I want to say maybe 3 or 4, riding a big wheel. I don't know if you know what those are.
3 wheels, 1 big wheel.
Yeah,
I've
exactly.
heard that memory tremendously a lot. It seems as though Americans and big wheels go hand in hand. That showed a childhood.
Yeah,
yes.
It's true. I remember being on my big wheel with my I don't think they were Walkman then, because it was too long ago, but it was like a little radio with headphones,
Right.
some kind of transistor radio. Like, I'm sure it wasn't a tape.
I remember those as well.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
And I was listening to music and singing and riding my big wheel up and down the driveway. Like, and I remember that. It's like one of my youngest memories, and just loving music, feeling like I was in a different world, kind of in my own world. Sort of on this like journey. So yeah, that's one of the things I remember.
Super cool. How do you see that memory connecting to who you are today?
Oh, it's interesting. I think it's probably coming out. That was sort of me in the shell, so to speak. And I've seen myself sort of evolve so much since those early days, but also still being on a journey, like being genuinely excited and, sort of entertained along the way. And that's what it reminds me of, like being that young on my big wheel, listening to that music, just really, enjoying life. Right. And I think certainly that's not an everyday thing for a lot of people, but I'm really, proud to say that after all these years, like, I feel like I'm slowing down and embracing the things that matter so I can actually enjoy life. Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that brings back.
Can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that memory?
Sure.
Here we go. I love the word WHILE, while. So on your LinkedIn profile, it has Melissa Jurkoic, empowering women to succeed in technology while transforming your business strategy into tangible outcomes. And I love the fact that at your tender age of, let's say, 3 or 4 possibly?
Yeah.
That you were doing that. You were riding your bike while interacting with technology to identify your thing in life, like on your journey. It's like you're doing 3 things there, right? Which is the action, which is the reflection, and then which is the interaction with the technology. And to see you do that now as an adult and help others do that as well through technology, I like that. I like that imagery and what it connects with.
That's cool. I like that interpretation too.
There we go. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
So the song that I remember around that age, and I hope that it was out at that time because this is the one that keeps coming back, is Aha had a song called Take On Me. And I remember, and there was like even a music video when you actually could watch music videos on whatever, I think it was VH1 at the time. That song, the video, I loved it. I was like infatuated with it.
All right. Well, my friend, we have arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly. Are you ready, Melissa?
Yes.
Melissa, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and or the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Oh, it's more than 8, unfortunately.
Melissa, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Melissa Jurkoic, what would you say that is?
Oh, that's a tricky one. I would say that is I am a passionate soul on a mission to spread my message and help people.
Oh, there we go. Melissa, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
No, I think this is great. I love what you're doing here. And I think, again, like, I hope people go and check out some of the work that I'm doing and some of the awesome things that people are doing that you mentioned around like bringing people together and boosting, women and people in, diverse classes up.
Love it. Melissa, again, great pleasure, my friend. Thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-minute convos with Angel Jones. This is the end of the day 35. It's been a great pleasure, and I continue on my journey to have 1,001 conversations in 12 weeks. Melissa, have a great night.
Thank you. You too.
This segment has been brought to you by Amadeus Enterprise.